4 righties, so maybe a few more changeups. We'll see. River Muller will lead it off the game. River Mailer, beg your pardon, for Stanford, who takes strike one. 69-mile-an-hour pitch. Deemed a strike by Christina Drum, and away we go in game 2 here at the World Series. The freshman second baseman having a phenomenal year at the top of the Stanford order. It is a Stanford team that has climbed a little bit higher every year under head coach Jessica Allister. Super Regionals a season ago. They break through this year, go on the road, beat Duke in 2 games, and make it back to Oklahoma City. A sophomore ball with a called strike on the freshman Mailer. Second Mailer in the World Series. Rivers' mother Tammy played shortstop at Washington. All World Series shortstop in the mid-90s. Her first appearance on this grand stage. And she goes down swinging. Up and away at 69 miles per hour. A heck of a start for Ball.
She'll stay on that side of the plate against left-handed hitters, and she'll go a little up, she'll go a little down. Again, she loves to tunnel her rise ball and her drop ball. This being a low rise ball on the outside corner. Gets a first strikeout of the game. She is so tough to hit against, especially just seeing her for the first time.
Taylor Gindelsberger with a dribbler over the glove of Ball. The second baseman Jennings has no play, and Stanford has a first inning base runner courtesy of Taylor Gindelsberger. Appropriate enough, it's the 5th-year senior, part of that first recruiting class for Jessica Allister, who is the first Cardinal base runner at the World Series in 19 years. On the way, here's Ali Kaneshiro with a runner on. And Kaneshiro is hit. So an infield single and a hit batter. And Stanford's got a little something cooking in the first.
Looks like this ball just fell out of her hand, gets caught back behind her hit, but just doesn't get through that pitch. Just uncharacteristic to see that ball fall out of her hand that way. Stanford with 2 on.
Only the 9th hit batter, 123 innings for Ball. Emily Young, the senior, drops down a bunt. It advances the runners, but it is the second out as Ball makes the play at first. You think she was trying to bunt for a hit there, or was that a 1-out sacrifice from the cleanup hitter?
Yeah, maybe just a little bit of both, right? Show bunt late, see if you can surprise the corners because you are the cleanup hitter, maybe not expecting it. The thing that got her into trouble is that it was just right back at Jordy Ball, who is a very good athlete, can field her position well.
So it brings up Kylie Chung, the designated player, with 2 on and 2 out. And Chung chases a rise ball.
Your Jordy Ball, you love to see that. Throw a rise ball right there at the eyes. It wouldn't have even come close to being a called strike, but you get the hitter to swing at it. You're thinking, I have you right where I want you if you're swinging at that.
The sophomore Chung has some big power in her bat. 2 on, 2 out in the first. 0-2. And now, what we've seen from Jordy Ball for 2 years, when she gets you to 2 strikes, the playbook is wide open. You don't get many of these chances against Oklahoma.
Jordy tried to celebrate that one. Will the umpire to call it. It seemed out of her hand. She knew where it was going to be. As a pitcher, you can feel it. You just know when you put the ball exactly where you want to, and if it's going to be really close to a called strike. Looked a little bit inside. Have a great look there with the umpire cam back behind home plate.
One-two pitch. Got her swinging. In and out of a jam. Jordy Ball as cool as it gets.
What makes her so
game one time this season.
Due in large part to her rise ball. This is the pitch that she will consistently rely on and throw at multiple different levels. She can spot that pitch at the knees, belt high, at the letters, and eye high. She will go to that pitch consistently, mix in a little curve and a little screwball. But when you look at her heat map, look at how far up in the zone that red area is, where she gets the most swings and misses that when she throws because of that rise.
Against Jada Coleman. Ready for the first pitch, and a rise blown right past her. An establishing shot delivered by Kennedy. A batter who does not swing and miss much and has an on-base percentage of .543. The extraordinary ball of energy that is Jada Coleman. That's a strike on another rise ball, 0-2.
I just have this smile on my face because I think that this is the matchup that so many fans have wanted to see based off of how Kennedy has pitched in her freshman year, and the OU offense that we have grown to know to be explosive.
2 strikes on Coleman, who gets a piece to stay alive. It's an unparalleled offense. It's been that way for some time now, Oklahoma. And the last 3 years, Jada Coleman has been either in the center or at the top of it all. The Big 12 Player of the Year. Her 3rd consecutive season as a first-team All-American. The 180th game of her career, she started every one of them. A bunch of which have been on this field. Coleman chases another rise ball and knocks it out of play.
The defensive swing right there with 2 strikes, and you see her smiling about it too. It looked just so awkward, just trying to defend, do anything that you can. Just an odd swing. She has a beautiful left-handed swing. That one looking a lot different.
4 straight rise balls to start from Kennedy. She'll throw a 5th, and Coleman has knocked the last 3 out of play. That one came in at 73, and it may have come out even harder.
Yeah, you're seeing Jada Coleman be so tough with 2 strikes. Her average with 2 strikes on the year, 368. But I think an even more impressive clip to me is with 2 strikes, her on-base percentage is over 500 with 2 strikes.
Seems impossible, but it's just Oklahoma. That's the first one in the dirt, the first non-rise ball of the game, and Coleman had no interest.
Yeah, and oftentimes too, Kevin, you've seen this year, she won't go to that pitch until 2nd, maybe 3rd time through the order. But with the at-bat that Jada Coleman is putting together, fouling off these pitches, having to go to at first AB, very uncommon when she's pitching.
7th pitch to Coleman. Back to the rise ball, and Coleman knocks it out of play again.
These hands with 2 strikes, just being such a pesky hitter with 2 strikes. Nyjah Kennedy is probably like, okay, what do I have to do here? She keeps hitting my great rise balls. They're at the top of the zone. Usually people swing and miss them. In fact, she swung and missed that pitch at the beginning of her at-bat.
The 8th pitch from Kennedy to Coleman. And that's just off the plate.
It's a good take by Jada Coleman. So amped up, you can tell, for this at-bat. She, like we said before, she'll go to that screwball and will throw a curveball too. It's just the pitch that she throws the most is that rise.
She's thrown it 7 out of 8 here. A 9th pitch to Coleman. Will this be the last one? No, it will not.
But you'd love to see it if you were in the Oklahoma dugout. Tiare Jennings yelling at her right now. The thing that's so special about this Oklahoma team is all their stats, yes, #1 in just all the categories, all the things, but it's the way that they celebrate the little things, like Jada Coleman fouling off pitches with 2 strikes, giving the dugout a chance to see 10 pitches in the first at bat of what Kennedy is going to throw today.
What a tone setter this has been. The 10th pitch to Coleman. And she lowers the bat speed and bloops it into center field, and that is the greatest single you'll ever see.
She is the energy of this team, the heartbeat at the top of the order. This is the pitch before Jada Coleman got a hit. It was, again, the rise ball, fouled it off, and Kennedy goes back to the changeup, and Coleman just stays in her legs and holds on to her bat path long enough to hit it off the end of her bat and just get a single after 10 pitches.
5 2-strike foul balls. And an immediate base stealing threat at first for Tiare Jennings. Another first-team All-American. Jennings chases a rise ball for strike 1. I mean, if you're Nigel Kennedy, and that's a good start, but what are you thinking after that first at-bat?
I'd like to have seen her go more up and in with that rise ball, maybe even a little bit higher. To beat Oklahoma, you have to do things probably that you've never done before. Try pitches that you've never tried before.
Jennings with a couple of swings and misses.
Wow. That first pitch rise ball well over her head, then going to her curveball.
Tiare Jennings is a .552 hitter on rise balls this season. That courtesy of our friends at 643 Charts. She has looked overmatched with the first 2. And Jennings will foul away an 0-2 pitch. And the cycle begins anew. We saw it against Clemson on Saturday. You just cannot get an easy out against this Oklahoma team, even in an 0-2 count, even in a 1-2 count. Jennings takes one a little bit low.
I mean, if you're not going to get this called against Oklahoma, it's going to be a tough day for Nigel Kennedy and Jordy Ball both. I mean, this is at the knees. This is a strike, and it was just missed.
Christina Drum, the plate umpire. Should have been strike 3. Instead, Coleman stays alive, and Coleman pops it up. So now Kennedy has seen 7 2-strike pitches fouled away, and she probably just got robbed of a strikeout.
Yeah.
15 pitches in, and you're already wondering, where's this thing gonna go? 1-2 for Jennings. Oklahoma today with only 2 left-handers in the lineup. Coleman 1 and Boone 9. So statistically speaking, good matchups for Kennedy.
Significant difference in those splits too.
First of 7 consecutive right-handers, Jennings. And she fouls away a 4th pitch with 2 strikes. They are the best power hitting team in the nation, and oh, by the way, they're the best contact hitting team in the nation. Normally you hit a bunch of home runs, bunch of big swings, and you strike out a lot. But with Oklahoma, there is no normal. The normal for Patty Gasso is dominance. 56-1 if Oklahoma runs the table or even loses a game at the World Series. They'll go into the books with the greatest winning percentage in a single season in Division I history. Another 1-2 from Kennedy. My goodness.
Just don't let you get comfortable, and So good with 2 strikes. It doesn't matter if it's the first inning, the 4th inning, the 7th inning. And this right here can be defeating for somebody like Nyjari Kennedy, who's used to throwing that rise ball, used to missing barrels with that pitch, and used to shutting down opponents with 2 strikes. And Coleman and Jennings just not making it easy whatsoever on her.
9th pitch to Jennings after 10 to Coleman. And Jennings takes it. No swing, 2-2. Jada Coleman screaming and gesturing with every pitch out at first. She saw 10 pitches, and now her teammate will see 10 at least. 2-2. That ball is fouled off as Kennedy goes off speed.
Going to that changeup again. I mean, can you believe this? No outs, bottom of the 1st inning. She is trying to get through 2 hitters and has already thrown 20 pitches. Just off the very end of the bat to get a piece to stay alive.
Another 2-2. Finally, Kennedy strikes out Jennings on the 11th pitch and wins the most epic second at-bat of a game you'll ever see.
Going back up and in to this rise ball and gets Nyjari Jennings to swing underneath this pitch. Fantastic pitch location for Kennedy. Remember, a freshman who has come out at the Women's College World Series with looking like no nerves.
21 pitches to 2 batters, a walk and a strikeout. And now Haley Lee, senior in her World Series debut. Lee will take one a little low.
It's a great pitch right there.
Yeah, I mean, that low pitch, we're seeing it early. You mentioned it. It is not there right now for Nyjari Kennedy.
Not there, and if you're Stanford on the other side, you're taking notes because Jordy Ball will like to throw her drop ball and change up low. You're learning this strike zone early.
Haley Lee, 30 walks, 9 strikeouts. Texas A&M transfer pops it up, and that will reach the seats. An infusion of transfers for Oklahoma this year. How do you replace Jocelyn Allo? Not with one player. You try to do it in the aggregate. Redshirt senior from Texas A&M, 8 for 14 with a couple of walks in the NCAA tournament. And an amazing addition to this roster. An All-American 2 years ago at A&M. An All-American type year this season. Lee chases a rise ball. Coleman's on the run, and Coleman could not dodge the tag. The Gold Glove catcher, Ali Kaneshiro, cuts her down at second.
And it looked like Kaneshiro was just waiting for it. Got to come out of her squat on that rise ball, gave her a bit of a head start, and threw out Jada Coleman by a mile. Tag is just waiting on her right there at the base. Coleman's so athletic, trying to work around it, as she always does. What a throw by Kaneshiro.
She's caught stealing for the first time this season. Lee fouls it off. Ali Kaneshiro awarded yesterday the Rawlings Gold Glove. She has now caught 58% of attempted base stealers this season. So now the bases are wiped clean for Lee. 26th pitch of the inning from Kennedy. And a dribbler to shortstop, Emily Young. And Young throws it way away into the camera well to give Lee 2 bases. And a huge mistake keeps the inning alive for OU.
Emily Young has so long to make this play, all the time in the world, and almost too much time, because then you think about it, think too much about your throw being perfect. Remember when we were talking earlier, Kevin, about where you see the nerves come out in the Women's College World Series? I feel like it's usually on defense, like we saw here.
Young, who has started every game at shortstop this year. One of the great defensive infielders in the history of the program, with a 2-base error to keep the inning alive for Kinsey Hansen. And Hansen takes a strike. If you've watched Oklahoma 100 times, or if you've watched Oklahoma once, you know what usually happens when you give Oklahoma an extra out. Hansen, a first-team All-American. A dozen home runs on her year. 0-2.
This Oklahoma team, when you make a mistake and hand them a free base, an extra chance, usually so good at taking advantage of those opportunities.
Well, she's in the Clemson count now, Kinsey Hansen. This was the ball and strike number when she hit that tying home run on Saturday. But she's not going to hit one today. And it is game on in OKC.
And the cool thing about Stanford getting back to the Women's College World Series, I mean, obviously getting here is a big accomplishment, but their head coach, Jessica Allister, was on the last team back in 2004 when Stanford made it here to the Women's College World Series. She said she remembers the excitement, the crowds, and also getting that experience with her teammates. But she said the turning point for this team was last year. They got to host a Super for the first time in a long time. They didn't advance, though, and she said the exit interviews with all of these players, they were hungry for more. That carried over into the fall, which carried over into the spring, which carried them to Oklahoma City.
It's an amazing story, Court. You see right there, first regional host in a dozen years, most Pac-12 wins since the turn of the millennium. Jessica Allister was in Minnesota, and her last year in Minnesota, 50-game winner, should have been a national seed. They got absolutely hosed, had to go to Alabama, who was the 16 seed. That was Jessica Allister's last year at Minnesota. She took over a Stanford program that was in total disarray. 4-68, 3 years in the Pac-12. And here she is at the World Series, the school where she played. It is a terrific turnaround story, and not many coaches have done what Jessica Allister has done, not just to get here, but really to rebuild a broken program.
It's been impressive, and I'm sure she's enjoyed it even more doing it at the school that she played at. And in large part, too, to the fifth-year seniors like Emily Schultz, who's up to bat now, and Taylor Gindelsberger, and also Emily Young, players that have been with her from the beginning, and players who, when they were freshmen, were just excited to make a regional. And now they're at the Women's College World Series because of the hard work that Jessica Allister and our coaching staff and the players have put in, and the trust that they've put in her.
Fifth-year starter here, Emily Schultz, out of Aurora, Illinois. So a 2 from Jordy Ball. You were around Stanford a couple of weekends ago. You were out there for the Palo Alto Regional. What has struck you getting to know Jessica Allister a little bit and getting to know this team a little bit this postseason?
I think it's just the trust that she has in her coaching staff of Jessica Merchant, who won a national championship with Michigan, and also Tori Nyberg, and just the communication and belief that they have in their coaching staff and what they give to their players. I mean, that's what stuck out to me without a doubt.
A chopper right back to Ball. She is as good as it gets fielding her position.
And she also told us that regional weekend that the first team meeting, she put together a really challenging schedule for the Stanford team because she felt like they had a team that could take it on. And she told them, we can host, quote unquote, we can host. And unfortunately, too, for Stanford, I feel like they got a little bit unlucky with that 9 seed. I thought that they deserved a higher seed. I think that was just the vibes all across the country, thinking they should have been higher.
Down the left field line for Caitlin Lim. She admitted, Jessica Allister, there was a little bit of a chip on the shoulder because Stanford had a very good RPI, a good strength of schedule, a great non-conference strength of schedule. You can make a very reasonable case they should have been higher than a 9 seed, and they've played like a team higher than a 9th seed in this tournament, outscoring opponents 30-5 and sweeping the regionals and supers. One of only 4 teams to get to Oklahoma City undefeated in the postseason: Tennessee, Oklahoma State, and of course this Oklahoma team. Marjorie Kennedy hoping for a little bit of a breather here after that epic first. Caitlin Lim fouled away a 2-strike pitch.
And you mentioned the amount of runs that Stanford has scored past couple of weekends in regionals and supers, and that's definitely, I think, one thing that has stood out to me is their offense and the runs that they've been putting on the board. More known in the regular season for their pitching and their defense and limiting opponents off and keeping them off the board, but their offense has stepped up big the past couple of weekends.
Caitlin Lim, the batter here, has been a big part of it, and Lim takes one just off the outside. Caitlin Lim, second best on base percentage on the team at .384. All the way in the back of the batter's box to start. She'll step forward and she'll go down swinging. Third strikeout, Jordy Ball.
Jordy Ball going to go to this rise ball in the outside corner. Low rise. Comes a little bit more back onto the plate, too, it looks like. Like a backdoor movement to it.
Two down for Sydney Steele. Just a 178 hitter, Steele, but a couple of extra base hits in this NCAA tournament. 3 for 14, 4 RBIs in the tournament. A fourth-year starter. It's her second year on this stage, Jordy Ball, and her first healthy. She's dealing with an injury last year, mysterious status of whether or not she would pitch, had a late season arm injury. Did throw a couple of times in the World Series last season. As far as we know, as far as Patty Gasso says, and certainly as far as Jordy Ball looks, she is 100% here in her sophomore year.
And how fun, too, that in this game we have last year's National Freshman of the Year against this year's National Freshman of the Year.
So far, pretty fun.
Yeah, very fun. The pitchers that we have this first day are just, will make anybody happy, though. If you're a softball fan, if you're a pitching fan.
2-2. .109 ERA a season ago, Jordy Ball, to win that National Freshman of the Year. It was the Gatorade National Player of the Year coming out of the state of Nebraska. Spent some time with Jordy yesterday, and she is certainly not as intimidating as she seems stalking around the circle. Very quiet, soft-spoken. But obviously that big personality emerges out on the field. Patty Gasso said the first time I saw her, she was roaming around the circle like a caged animal. Realized what a competitor she was very quickly. 3-2 for Steele.
Just the amount of swings and misses, too, that both of these pitchers get that hover really close to about a 40% mark of swings and misses. Good movement, speed. It gets so tough on a hitter.
A ground ball from Steele, right back to Ball. Clean fielding start for her, and 2 scoreless for George.
Oh, man.
She's match the 3-year national champions. That's pretty crazy. Listen, Brito, one of those big home run hitters, and Brito fouls the first pitch away. It's obviously a different game. The game's changed in a lot of ways since then. But one of the things that stands out about Oklahoma is they're doing it in a time where we talk about parity so much in the sport. Different teams at the World Series every year, different teams in contention. No unseeded teams this year, but 3 at the World Series last year, an unseeded team in the Champ Series. It seems like the sport is as deep as it's ever been, which I think makes what Oklahoma's done even more impressive.
And to add on to everything that you just said, not only is the sport deeper and the teams are better, more talent, but they get everybody's best game every time they play. Everybody wants to beat them. Everybody wants to be able to take them down, and very few have been able to do it.
Nice read, Kennedy to Brito. And she got her looking. 3 strikeouts now for Kennedy.
And one thing that stuck out to me was the 6 swings and misses that Kennedy got in the first inning. Look at these swings that they took. You see Jada Coleman is trying to pull it together. They just haven't quite swung and missed like this year, at least not the games that I have seen. You can tell the type of movement that she has, them trying to figure her out early in this game. The first time that they've faced her, they're taking all the notes that they possibly can to get to her later.
Sid Sanders turns away from ball 1. So 3 strikeouts plus a runner caught stealing for the 4 Stanford outs. Sanders with home runs 3 of her last 4 games. Arizona State transfer. And a 2-0 count. Last year's National Freshman of the Year, Jordy Ball. 1 dugout. This year's National Freshman of the Year in the circle for Stanford. And the player at the plate, Sydney Sanders, was a top 3 finalist for National Freshman of the Year a season ago. 21 home runs to smash the Arizona State single season record. Her head coach Tricia Ford left for Texas A&M, and Sid Sanders left for Norman.
And doing a good job of taking that pitch that she's seen her teammates go up to bat and be aggressive on and chase out of the strike zone. Got herself into a 3-1 count.
And Sanders will take one right down the heart.
Thrown a lot of pitches already because of that first inning. 37 pitches, not even through 2 innings yet. A lot of strikes too. Getting swings and misses out of the zone, being able to locate pitches in the zone.
Only 8 balls, 29 strikes. Sanders pops it up. That ball is going to sneak up onto the netting. Oklahoma's now fouled off 13 two-strike pitches. So it has not been uncontested dominance from Kennedy, even with the 3 strikeouts. Make it 14.
And just when you're a strikeout pitcher and you're so used to piling up double-digit strikeouts, getting ahead 0-2, 1-2, and getting that strikeout, you're just, it can be defeating for a team to go up there and just spoil it time and time again. Already 14 times spoiling a strikeout, and we're not even through 2 innings.
Eighth pitch coming to Sanders. And And she'll take it off the plate for ball 4. And look at Jada Coleman fire up the Oklahoma dugout and crowd after the walk. A hard-won walk for Sydney Sanders.
What a quality at bat by Sydney Sanders. She looked, out of the Oklahoma hitters that we've seen so far, the most calm in the box. Didn't get ahead of herself. Tracked those pitches well.
That'll bring up Alina Torres. Shows bunt. Takes a low, strike 1.
And that walk that Kennedy just gave up, just the second walk in the postseason given up by Kennedy. Whew, it's a lot of strikes.
It's 20 walks this season for Kennedy. This is her 23rd start, 30th game, 117 and 2/3 innings. Strikeout to walk ratio of about 10-1. First pitch apparently was called a ball, so it's 2-0 on Torres. Another Arizona State transfer. That's a strike.
Looked like a similar pitch from the one before.
Be a 44th pitch to the 7th batter Kennedy's facing. More than 6 per batter. Torres to shortstop, deep in the hole. Play made at second by Young. And Stanford will get just one, 6-4 on a fine play from Emily Young.
I love to see the rebound from Emily Young, who made that throwing error back in the first inning. Less time to think on that one, went to her backhand. She's falling toward left field, made a quick throw to second base to get that force out.
Now back to the center shortstop, number 3, Grace Lyons.
It'll bring up Grace Lyons with 2 down. Been a whole lot of Grace Lyons on this field over the years. Fifth-year senior, Oklahoma captain. Patty Gasso says it's an appropriate first name. She is the word grace. Cool, calm. She is their settler. Her 40th career postseason game. And the 3rd straight year, the Big 12 Defensive Player of the Year. Numbers have dipped at the plate a little this year, though. Dipped at the plate a little for Oklahoma standards means you still have a .995 OPS. Lyons misses strike 2.
The numbers just make you shake your head too, because it's not like they played a cupcake schedule this year. They challenged themselves, and with their pre-conference schedule, that's why you can just bring out all the stats, because they're facts. It's what they've done. It's not an opinion. I mean, when you look at their stats, they just are unreal.
20-0 against ranked teams, Oklahoma. 27 run rule wins out of their 56. Lyons chases one and stays alive. As is contractually required for Oklahoma, you have to foul off at least one 2-strike pitch.
Everybody getting their first look this first time through. Very interested to see what their ABs look like the second time through the order, which will be happening before you know it.
One more batter to get through, Riley Boone. Lyons pokes away a 2-strike pitch off the plate. Marjorie Kennedy about to throw a 50th pitch in 2 innings. It's an unsustainable pace. Lions left side, foul territory. Young ranging over and couldn't get there.
She was there. I think if there would have been slightly better communication with that play, wouldn't have been an easy play by any means, but she could feel Sydney Steele there and the tarp as well. You kind of see it out of the corner of your eye, pulled up on it. If she would have kept running hard, I think she would have a better chance. Maybe still not have caught it, but good effort by Young to go after that ball.
So Lions remains alive with 2 strikes. Torres the runner at first. And Lions sends one out of play again.
Just wow, 51 pitches, not even through 2 innings.
That's 18 2-strike foul balls to 8 batters. It has been a pretty free and easy year in a lot of ways for Najri Kennedy. No way she's had to work this hard ever. 26 pitches an inning in the first 2 with this one. And Lyons puts it in play to center field. It is caught by Gindelsberger. It's been a marathon, but Kennedy is only the 3rd time. And last year's teams have gone just 2 for 8. Biggest surprise for you would be UCLA bowing out in regionals?
Has to be. Biggest upset in history. 2 seed going 2 and out.
Eliek on the ground, the Lions at short. We had the 2 seed go on in regionals last year, Florida State, though they were eliminated twice on the final day. UCLA did not win a game, losing to Grand Canyon and the Liberty. And in fact, San Diego State won the UCLA regional without playing UCLA.
Just don't see that.
So the number 2 seed not here. 6 of the top 8 are. 7 of the top 9 with Stanford. As River Mailer takes a strike from Jordy Bald.
Well, Kevin, you mentioned it earlier. River Mailer, 2nd-generation World Series participant. Her mom, Tammy, was a shortstop at Washington, made the World Series back in 1996. And River told us, look, my mom is really competitive. Sometimes we get in the cages to hit, and she just takes over. By the way, she can hit left or right, whatever she's feeling that day.
Yeah, just to rub it in a little bit. River, remember that one time, Court, where River was not hitting the ball in batting cages, and Tammy said, give me the bat. Starts hitting the ball left-handed, then switches to right-handed.
Oh my God, like this is how you do it, okay? On both sides, if you want to see what it looks like, this is how you do it.
Mother and daughter both in the World Series. Pretty cool, both in the Pac-12. River actually started out as a left-handed hitter, told us that went south, so she hit right-handed for a little bit, and then that went even further south. So she became more of a lefty slapper, though she does have a little bit of power. 2-2 from Jordy Ball. And Mailer stays alive.
And cool for her mom because she gets to watch her daughter and her alma mater play.
That's right.
In the Women's College World Series, so win-win.
And doesn't have to worry about them playing each other, at least not yet.
Yeah.
Mailer is down looking.
Yeah, Jordy Ball in this at-bat against River Mailer was able to get the outside corner and then some. Low rise ball right at the knees. Kenzie Hansen, who is so good. We talked about Ali Kaneshiro, but Kenzie Hansen on the other side. We have 2 just top-notch catchers in this game.
Taylor Gindelsberger lays down a bunt. That's a fair ball, and Hansen, that top-notch catcher, makes it look easy. 1, 2, 3, go the...
We needed it. The way these guys respond, they're great. I think everybody expects that we should always win. The amount of pressure is pretty insurmountable, and they keep standing up to it.
About as emotional as we've ever seen Patty Gasso. That was after the Game 2 win over Clemson last weekend, talking about the insurmountable pressure. And Oklahoma, certainly when you're this good, there's going to be pressure to win every game. Longest win streak in the history of Division I, trying to become the second team to go back to back to back. The point she was trying to make is it seems easy. Everybody in town expects Oklahoma to win every game, and they do win almost every game, but there is a lot to live up to if you're an Oklahoma Sooner, and it's a good burden when you go 56-1, but it is to some degree, she feels, a burden on her team.
And they have the biggest target on their back from their opponents, from social media, from sometimes their own fans. And I think at some point it just starts to build and build and build. An emotional day in that Game 2, the last postseason game played at their home field. Just a lot of emotions on that day.
Riley Boone, who had a hit in that 7th inning rally to close down the postseason history of Marita Hines Field. She'll be followed by Coleman and Jennings here in the Oklahoma third against Nigeri Kennedy. 52 pitches through 2 innings. 29 in the first, 23 in the second. 3 strikeouts, and only 1 hit allowed.
One thing that stuck out to me, too, that Coach Gasso told us just yesterday is that everybody has their opinions about what they think is best for our team. And it probably just is exhausting and tries to, I'm sure they all try to stay away from social media because take you down a dark path there sometimes. But it's a ton of pressure that these athletes face, and they're like rock stars of college softball. Everybody wants to meet them, get their autograph, be next to them, watch them play, the hottest ticket in town. Even when they're on the road, they're selling out stadiums, and most of the fans that are there to see them.
Drew 8,000 plus to this stadium for a regular season game against Texas. And it is packed to the gills every time the Sooners play here at the World Series.
And guys, we asked Patty Gasso, how do you talk to your players about this? And she's told them, understand who really knows us. Keep your circle small. Trust your teammates. Eliminate that social media noise. That's so important.
They are, I would say, about as communicative of a team, Court, as there is on the field. And you see it. You see the level of trust in between at-bats. Boone, another 2-strike foul ball. Feels like never does an Oklahoma hitter go back to the dugout after making it out and not have a few words for the hitter after them.
They are constantly communicating. And they have their own language of how they're communicating about spin and speed, what they're looking for, just trying to give as many tips as possible to the next hitter up.
Boone, .493 on base percentage in the 9th spot, and wouldn't you know it, she's fouled away 3 more 2-strike pitches.
And it was absolutely Jada Coleman, who's on deck, that set the tone for this. If she goes up there after that first swing, that is just so big, kind of lost. Who knows what the rest of the lineup does, but because she set the tone to be tough with 2 strikes, it's contagious throughout the rest of the lineup, and it is a mindset for the rest of the offense.
Boone, fair ball to third. Steele throws her out. Kennedy's got the leadoff hitter after 7 more pitches. There's the sea of Sooner fans to see this incredible show. Delighted as ever by Jada Coleman and her energy and her effervescent personality. Her 3rd trip to the World Series, Jada Coleman. Swings through another Kennedy rise ball. So she has started both at-bats with a swing and miss, Jada Coleman. As we've hit the second time through the order for Oklahoma against Kennedy. So what are you looking for now, second time through? You've seen 59 pitches through the first 9 hitters.
Yeah, I'm looking to see them start to be more patient with the rise ball. Like, I just go back to that Sydney Sanders at bat when she drew the walk, how patient she was, and start to try to get more on top of the rise ball that is more around the strike zone.
Coleman swings and misses for strike 3. 4 Ks for Kennedy, and it didn't take her double-digit pitches this time.
And this is
Here's Jennings. Strike 1. Why is a pitch that Nyjeri Kennedy's thrown about 95% of the time so hard to pick up for hitters?
because it is so it's just so deceptive, and you know in the back of your head too that she can throw it letters high, belt high, and you just don't want to get frozen, and so you think it's going to be a pitch that stays a little bit lower, continues to rise out of the zone. And what you're seeing already in the second time through is her not go to that rise ball out of the zone as early. Gets ahead of Jennings with her curveball. Likely going to go back up and into that rise ball, up and in her hands, the way that she struck her out the first time.
After a first pitch ball to Boone, 11 straight strikes in the inning. Now 12 in a row as Jennings gets a piece.
I think if she could have just located that pitch a little bit more up and in. I mean, the rise ball that she located up and in to Jennings in her first at bat, to me, was probably the best one that she's thrown. And she continues to throw it there against the right-handed hitters. It's even tougher.
Struck out Jennings on the 11th pitch of their first inning at bat. Jennings fouled off 6 two-strike pitches in the sequence. The 4th pitch here will be the last. That's where you wanted it.
Sent up really long at bats. What stood out to you about those ABs?
This battle, it's hard to square her up. She's got exceptional speed and movement. So I think we've had her throw over 50, maybe 60 pitches in 3 innings. So that's a win in itself. We got to take little things as victories right now.
Last time we saw Jordy Ball at the World Series, she was coming off an injury. What has her evolution been like over the past year to get back here?
Really proud of her. It was crushing last year, this time last year. It was really crushing for her to not be able to come out and help the team. But she's fought, she's healthy, she's on game. It's fun to watch her pitch. I'm happy that she's enjoying this time.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you, guys.
Patty Gasso always very open with us. Wanted to take the little things as victories offensively. A lot of little things Jordy Ball's done well.
A lot of little rise balls too. She's well around the strike zone, mixing her changeup, being able to locate that pitch on different levels, freezing these hitters. She's looked really good. The difference between Jordy Ball and Nyjeri Kennedy is they both have exceptional rise balls. But with Jordy Ball, it's the ability to throw that changeup in any count, and also her drop ball that she can tunnel to go lower in the zone to complement that rise ball that gives her an extra dimension when she's pitching.
The other difference between them right now is 29 pitches. Very efficient first 3 for Jordy Ball. Part of the order against her here, Ali Kaneshiro first up. And Kaneshiro puts one in play to Sanders. Another quick out. Never gets old, that view. Aerial coverage. We get the drone up there in the Oklahoma City skies. All sorts of gizmos and gadgets and camera angles as we continue to enhance our Women's College World Series coverage here. 41st year of this amazing showcase. Emily Young, a sacrifice bunt her first time. 5th-year senior, Mason, Ohio. Young started to swing, and she did not. Oklahoma crowd does not agree. They don't get a say.
And I think Sydney Sanders just couldn't believe it. Had a good look down the first base line, and yeah, I think that's why I definitely think that she went on that one and did not get the call.
Oh, how? It should be 1-1. Now it's 2-1. Megan Rabin, first base umpire today. 4-person umpiring crew. Young toward the middle and through. The 5th-year senior Emily Young with a base hit. And Stanford with its second hit of the game against Jordy Ball.
Look at her get her barrel down to this drop ball. Talked about how Jordy Ball can go up or down in the zone. This is a drop ball, and she just drops her barrel down and into that pitch. Usually a low and drop ball like that is so hard to get your barrel to, but Emily Young shortens up her swing, drives her right back up the middle of the field.
4th hit of the NCAA tournament for her, and here's Kylie Chung.
I hear the umpires say bring it down just a little, trying to get the top of the zone with that rise.
Former two-way player Chung, who has really just been a hitter this season outside of one game pitching. It's only her 13th start of the year, Kylie Chung. She's had to fill a void for Stanford, which has had to have a couple of players pick up the slack. They lost Kaylin Koch to a torn ACL after 30 games. 5 home runs, 947 OPS. Their best hitter at the time tore ACL against Oregon State midseason. That one's lofted into center field, and Coleman's not going to get there. Back-to-back base hits for the Cardinal. Young and Chung to put 2 on with 1 out.
And Jada Coleman was playing pretty far back, and Grace Lyons playing up the middle of the field, just not enough time. You see both of them, though. So interesting. Grace Lyons and Jada Coleman both sticking out their glove, acting like they're attempting to catch it, like it might be close, just anticipating wanting to get the out at second base.
And now Stanford will send in a pinch runner to second base. I'm going to take Young out in scoring position. Ellen Nadeau will replace her for the time being. Can Stanford strike first with some small ball against Jordy Ball? 2 on for Emily Schultz.
Yeah, we asked Coach Allister about their offense when we had a chance to talk to her yesterday. Yes, we did talk to a lot of people yesterday, if you're wondering, because we keep talking about all these conversations, all the teams in one day. But when we talked to Coach Allister about her offense, she's like, look, we played the best pitchers in the country with the schedule that we put together. So we got beat up a little bit by the grind of it all, but don't let our offensive numbers fool you.
That has popped up. Alyssa Brito without a play. Almost hit Courtney.
And I started to see this offense just break open in Stanford whenever I had their regional, when they were playing Florida, putting up big-time run numbers, and then you saw them do it again against Duke in their super regional. Their at-bats are so consistent. They have a plan. Really confident in the box.
Schultz, 1-2. Late decision to swing. No doubt they tested themselves, the Stanford team. In fact, they played Oklahoma back on February the 10th, opening weekend of the year. Oklahoma won that game 10-1, but it doesn't feel terribly relevant because neither Najiri Kennedy nor Elena Vaughter pitched. All sorts of rally tops in the Stanford dugout. The fifth-year senior Schultz will strike out. Up the ladder for Jordy Ball and strikeout number 5.
I would almost guarantee that when Kinsey Hansen went out to talk to Jordy Ball, they talked about what she wanted to throw, and I bet Jordy Ball said, I think we can get her with the rise ball. Goes back to the rise ball. She's been going more down the second time through the order against Stanford. She goes back up for the strikeout with a runner in scoring position, knew what she wanted to throw.
Now one of the Cardinals' hottest hitters, Caitlin Lim. Lim starts her barrel, and it's called a strike at the plate. Caitlin Lim, 5 for 11, 4 walks in the NCAA tournament. Reach base each of the 5 games between the regionals and supers. Nadeau the go-ahead run at second. And Lim takes one a little too tall.
Yeah, it's really interesting to watch Lim when she's at bat because of her limb shuffle or limb slide, as she talked to us about yesterday, that she'll kind of shuffle through the box. Something that she changed, an adjustment that she made before regionals, and has been hot ever since.
Starts about as far back as you can get. She'll step forward, take ball 2.
She talked about the timing of that too. That's something that is newer in her at bat, something that they had worked on at practice, and it just started out actually as a drill, and she was actually staying her legs better and staying back more. And so then Coach Allister was like, well, try it against our pitchers. And then she did well, brought it to regionals, and it stuck. Asked her what she feels like it helps her with. She said it feels like I'm staying in my back leg. I'm feeling my weight in my back leg before I swing. Swung and missed there, but been helping her out in the postseason.
Bring it 2 for Caitlin Lim.
A hitter that Coach Allister says manages the moment very well. Very relaxed, doesn't let the moment get too big.
Hard not to in front of this crowd. Nadeau and Chung will be off on the 3-2 from Ball. Just, and I mean just, stayed alive.
Sort of take that deep breath, just barely got a piece of this rise ball. If she would have taken it, it would have been ball 4, but one of those marginal pitches that's so hard to take with 2 strikes.
Hansen had it in the glove. Will that give Stanford the first run of the game? They get an extra chance here in the 4th inning against Oklahoma. And they can't take advantage of it. Ball and Hansen, an electric finish.
Joined now by Stanford head coach Jessica Allister. And coach, looking at these hitters, you got 2 hits off of Jordy Ball. What adjustments do you want to continue to see happening against her?
Yeah, I think we're working on settling in, and this is awesome. It's great to be out here on this stage. I think the first time through we're just a little bit sped up there. Just working on trying to settle in and put aggressive swings on good pitches.
Nyjah has had some amazing battles, some long ABs in there. What are you noticing from her in the circle?
I think she's pounding the zone early. I think she's spinning it late and just competing like crazy.
Thanks, Coach. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
And it's that rise ball that we have seen this entire year from Nyjah Kennedy, the pitch that she is continuing to rely on in this game. Her ability to throw this pitch at different levels is what she has learned this freshman year at Stanford. She attributes Tori Nyberg, her pitching coach, to helping her locate her rise ball at all different levels, something that she didn't do before her freshman year at Stanford, something that's helping her today against OU's offense.
Oklahoma scoreless through 3, which is a blue moon kind of event. Heart of the order, Lee, Hansen, Brito trying to change that. Haley Lee aggressive on the first pitch. Just 1 hit for Oklahoma. I mean, this is just crazy. This is crazy. This is the 58th game this year. They've been scoreless through 3 innings, 5 out of 58 times. May 6th, Oklahoma State, the last one of those. The only hit was Coleman leading off the game. Sanders had a 2nd inning walk. Lee reached on an error on a routine ground ball to short.
And Kevin, we know that rise ball from Nyjah Kennedy now, but it was actually a pitch that she told me a couple of weeks ago that was a struggle for her to get. She actually told me, I couldn't get that pitch to save my life. Couldn't get it to spin correctly till about 8th grade. Before that, I was straight fastballs and changeups.
Lee pops it up. Schultz and Kaneshiro do not have a play.
And here's the kicker. After 4 or 5 months of just not being able to get it with her pitching coach, Roxy Moreno, she turned to Roxy and said, do I really need this rise ball? She was ready to quit, give up on it, but she decided to stick with it. Really took until about her freshman year of high school to master that pitch. And then one day it just clicked, and she said, I've had it ever since.
We'll throw it again, and Lee hangs in there. Constant thrum and chatter of the Oklahoma dugout. Spurring on Lee. We'll take an off-speed pitch up.
Remember, Coach Allister told us the first time that she saw Nyjah Kennedy pitch was when she was in 7th grade playing 18-year-olds. And if you're competitive enough to do that and pitch against hitters that are older than you like that, you can pitch on this stage.
2-2. Boy, can she pitch on this stage. 3 straight strikeouts to begin her 2nd trip through the order.
Usually doesn't work like that. I don't think that you get more strikeouts 2nd time through. Goes to that curveball. We talked a lot about her rise ball, but she cuts this pitch across, gets Haley Lee to chase outside of the zone on the outside corner. Beautiful curveball by Kennedy for the K.
That is the 10th strikeout for Haley Lee this season in 58 games. She's striking out batters that never strike out. In fact, last inning, Nyjah Kennedy struck out Tiare Jennings and Jada Coleman in the same inning. Coleman and Jennings have played 180 games together at Oklahoma. They had never struck out in the same inning until the 3rd. Add Haley Lee to the mix, it's unfathomable. It's a Topeka, Kansas native, about 4 hours northeast of here in Oklahoma City. Topeka to Palo Alto to OKC. Hansen to the right side, right to the glove of Schultz.
It was really interesting, guys, to hear Nyjah talk about how she learned to pitch. She said, yeah, I was just going to try it one day. My dad, Bruce, he looked up videos on YouTube, didn't know anything about it, went out and bought her this pink rubber ball, and they actually threw together in the basement of their house. They eventually graduated her to pitching outside and then got her a pitching coach. But Jessica Allister has talked about how she came in with such great mechanics, Amanda, and I imagine that's made a huge difference for her progression this year.
Yeah, I mean, mechanics are definitely the key to everything, and you can tell that she worked hard on her mechanics with her dad in that backyard, watching the YouTube videos. That's how so many young pitchers start to pitch. You guys, that's just not a unique story to Kennedy. That is just how so many young pitchers get going and then end up here on this field.
2 down, Alyssa Brito. Brito, first pitch swing into left field, and caught at the wall. Taken away by Ellie Eck. Tracked down to end the inning by Ellie Eck.
Hardest to play, got a good jump, drop step, toward her glove side, was just trying to get a feel of where that fence was, and you could tell, looked up immediately and figured out she was still pretty far away from it. But what focus by Eliak to come away with that catch. Love the excitement from Nyjah Kennedy celebrating with her.
Sydney Steele on the first pitch into left field, and a leadoff base hit for Stanford. Sid Steele, the 178 hitter, 231 on base percentage. She comes through to start the 5th inning against Jordy Ball. And Eliak was due up, but she has headed back toward the Stanford dugout. Jessica Allister, it appears, has a pinch hitter in the works.
Pitching for Stanford, number 27, Allie Clemens.
Going to be Allie Clemens to pinch hit. That's a spot where it certainly could be a bunt if you leave Eck in there. She does not have a sacrifice on the year. Clemens does have 2. Hitter with a .304 on base and a couple of homers, Allie Clemens. And she will be swinging away. So top of the order coming up after this, Mailer and Gindelsberger. And Jessica Allister is not going to play this for the sac bunt and the 1 run. Maybe knowing that you play for 1 against Oklahoma, you're a team that can break out at any moment. It's a dead ball. Hit Clemens. Kind of an interesting strategic moment, isn't it? Because your pitcher's been so good. A lot of coaches might go for a bunt here, but it is Oklahoma on the other side.
Yeah, and remember, Eliak just made that great catch in left field. Let her hit. Take the momentum from D into her at bat.
Four hits in the game for Stanford. They've all been singles. Oklahoma's lone hit, a leadoff single by Jada Coleman. Getting through an Oklahoma game without an extra base hit in 4 innings is about as rare as finding a section without an Oklahoma fan here at Hall of Fame Stadium. Clemens chases strike 3, and Jordy Ball continues to cruise. 7th strikeout for the first team All-American.
The bottom just fell out of that pitch. I always liked it when I hadn't faced a hitter yet, and I just got to go right at her with my best stuff. Saw a little rise, ends it with a little drop. I mean, that's a tough pitch to get your barrel to. Good location by Jordy Ball.
Good job grabbing a foul tip, too, by Hansen. So 3rd time through the order and a rise to start River Mailer. Struck out swinging in the first, looking in the 3rd on a couple of low rises. A little bit low.
It's a good attempt there by Kinsey Hansen to frame that pitch. Jordy Ball thought that she was going to get it a called strike, and it's that ever important 1-1 count, Kevin, that it's either going to be a 2-1 count or a 1-2 count. So go to the hitter advantage or go to a pitcher's advantage.
Playing field tilted toward Mailer now, the freshman. Again showing bunt. That one misses badly from Ball. That's going to bring Kinsey Hansen out for a meeting.
Yeah, remember, Kinsey Hansen is tall, and that pitch was well out of the strike zone. The reactions that Kinsey had on this pitch, she's a leader back behind the plate for Oklahoma. Ooh, almost took her to the backstop there once it got into her glove, but speed behind this rise ball. Hansen clearly anticipating that pitch to be a little bit lower in the outside corner, especially in a 2-1 count. That pitch way out.
See that blue tape on the chest protector of Hansen, which she wears for Ball. Jordy said it helps her lock into that particular spot. Not able to lock in the last few pitches, but throws it right to the tape on 3-1.
Go right back to that same pitch. Mailer just well behind on that inside corner.
And she tried to throw it. She missed wide. A walk for Mailer, her team leading 28th, and Stanford has 2 on again. For the Cardinal, Taylor Gindelsberger. That is a strike. This is the 3rd time in 5 innings Stanford has put 2 runners on. Oklahoma has had 3 runners on total in the game. Gindelsberger, the Cardinal leader in hits, their leader in doubles, their leader in slugging percentage.
And she's the one for Stanford, that is a called strike, and I just didn't think it was going to be that time, and she's down 0-2, but Gindelsberger is the one that makes things happen offensively for Stanford, causes chaos, runs the bases really well. It's a huge deal to be ahead of her 0-2.
Only 13 strikeouts on the year. Make it 14. Another one for Jordy Ball. Her 8th in 4 2/3.
And because Jordy Ball is so good with 2 strikes, when Stanford has had their best success against her, they've hit early in the count with 2 strikes. You don't know if it's going to go up, down, or change. This time she goes down. That's a drop ball with over-the-top rotation, right at the knees on the outside corner. Gets her swinging, goes right at Gindelsberger with the runner in scoring position.
0-1 to Ali Kaneshiro.
Speaking of that too, Kevin, you look at what Jordy Ball has done when Stanford has gotten a runner to second base, been able to shut them down, take the game into her own hands, and pile up strikeouts when they have a runner on 2.
They're 0 for 4, and all 4 outs are strikeouts with runners in scoring position. Kaneshiro trying to change that. The number 3 hitter. She'll take strike 1. Every opportunity they've had today. The only one to put a ball in play was Young with that sacrifice bunt. Looked like she was trying to bunt for a hit, maybe with 1 out. Otherwise, 4 strikeouts in these spots. Ball to Kaneshiro, who takes low. Ali Kaneshiro, the only Stanford player to score against Oklahoma back in February the 10th with a solo home run. Started all 59 games behind the plate this year. And Kaneshiro finds herself in a leveraged count. Where are you looking if you're Kaneshiro?
Down for that drop ball.
Steele and Mailer the runners. Kaneshiro fouled it back.
Ooh, she thought that was a good pitch to hit too. You can tell with her reaction after that swing. Kaneshiro, a leader on this team, steady, calm. Jessica Allister called her their rock.
in the air left field. Boone and Coleman are there. It is Riley Boone in the inning over. Finally a ball in play with a runner in score. 3 Eastern Saturday. This has lived up to the billing.
Yeah, it has, and been so much fun to watch these electric young pitchers go head to head, limiting their walks, getting the strikeouts, and look at the pitch count all of a sudden. Kennedy at 75 and Ball at 76. I just did not expect to see that.
9 pitch fourth for Nigerie, and now 21 of her last 23 pitches have been strikes. She starts off Sid Sanders with one here. The only walk in the game for Oklahoma. Sanders, 8 Sooners in a row retired since then.
Saw a couple of adjustments from Oklahoma in the last inning with the last 2 hitters that Kennedy faced, Hansen and Brito. Brito, that line drive out to left field, trying to get the top of the rise ball or stay above the rise ball, work above the rise ball, and Hansen more of a line drive hit too. That's when you can start to see that Oklahoma will make some adjustments, that they're not swinging and missing at that rise ball, swinging underneath it, trying to get the top of it and see it down.
Sanders has looked the most comfortable against Kennedy. And for those of you looking for Around the Horn, that is now on ESPN2. Though we don't mind if you stick around with us for a little while.
Yeah, it's a good one.
It's Oklahoma 56-1 and record 48-game win streak. In a little bit of peril. Up and in. What did that hit? The bat or Sanders is the question. We haven't had an official ruling, and now the ruling will be foul ball according to Christina Drum, and strike 2. Patty Gasso's coming down from third to ask about it.
Maybe 2 to make sure that it didn't hit some of Sanders if she just needed a second, because you could tell by the sound that definitely hit off the knob of the bat. And a bit of a break for Kennedy.
What will she do with it? She'll strike her out. 9 straight Sooners set down by Nyjah.
Seeing her use this curveball more the second time through to get ahead, and then also to get a couple of strikeouts on this pitch. Even that curve has a bit of upspin to it, and the Nyjah stomp, the strikeout stomp, comes alive in the circle.
Alina Torres, strike 1. Got Nigerie Kennedy, mentioned from Topeka, Kansas, which is a little over 4 hours from here. Recruited by Stanford. Grew up watching the World Series. Never made it here for one of the games, but grew up watching. Loved, she told us, Samantha Shao at Oklahoma State. Amazing two-way player. 2019 led Oklahoma State to the World Series. And then 2 years ago, like a lot of us, Nigerie Kennedy really fell in love with Odyssey Alexander, who pits on this field for James Madison on this day 1 of the World Series, when James Madison faced #1 Oklahoma, and Odyssey delivered one of the great performances of that World Series in recent World Series history. He's had a little bit of contact with Odyssey since then. Senior year, pitched in the Alliance All-Star Game. Nyjah, Odyssey sent her a video. Loves the passion Odyssey pitched with. We asked her what stood out. She said the way the ball breaks. Such an electric pitcher, and has tried to model some of her game and some of her competitiveness after Odyssey Alexander. One of the few pitchers to do what Nigerie Kennedy has done in recent years. Take it to the Sooners. Into left center field from Torres. That's a gapper for a hit. Gindelsberger to it quickly, and it's a 1-out single. Oklahoma's first hit since the first. comes from Melina Torres.
With 2 strikes, Torres just expecting Kennedy to go to that rise ball. And look at her get her barrel on plane with that pitch. It's up at her eyes. Again, Oklahoma, you can see, starting to make more adjustments in the box against the rise ball of Kennedy. Wouldn't be surprised to see her go a little bit more still to that curve ball with the swings we saw from Hansen, Brito, and now Torres.
Avery Hodge will pinch run.
Haven't seen any of her change-ups lately either. We saw it in the first inning. Haven't seen her go to that pitch, and honestly, Oklahoma just wasn't even taking a look at it whatsoever. You could tell that it's a straight take with that changeup, but if she could throw that pitch for a strike, it'd be a big deal.
1 on, 1 out, Grace Lyons. Got the inside corner.
It's an important pitch right there too. Her screwball right at the knees, or maybe it's a low rise right at the knees on the inside corner. But with her curveball and that rise ball out, these hitters are going to get comfortable on the outer half. These right-handed hitters hitting against her, starting to get comfortable with that outside pitch and the ball moving away. I'd like to see her throw that in with her velocity.
Lyons on the infield. The shortstop Young cleans up the second out. Tonight, the NBA Finals. We're going to take a look at the colorful Stanford tree in the stands first. A lot of props in the Stanford section. The pink hats, the tree.
Timeout called by Tori Nyberg, the pitching coach and alum of Stanford.
6 seasons she played with Jessica Allister in that 2004 World Series team. That's what Kennedy's done today, and she's going to face Riley Boone with the top of the Oklahoma order lurking. You get Boone and you push Coleman and Jennings and Lee back to the next inning. But Boone is a pest.
She's had a terrific year. Just holds that 9th spot down for Oklahoma, puts together quality at bats. Just seems like she always finds a way to get on base late in the game.
Been a common denominator in a few of their late inning comeback wins too. That's ball 2. And now Sydney Steele, the third baseman, is going to give a few words of encouragement to Kennedy. Boone did get her bat back in time. Strike 1 to Boone.
Yeah, and she's tough to play as a third baseman. We're talking about Sydney Steele going over and talking to Nyjah Kennedy. They also be talking not only of words of encouragement, but communication on a bind. Riley Boone, just a triple threat, can do a lot of things in the box, makes it challenging for a third baseman and infield to figure out how to play her.
Has 2 bunt hits in this tournament, and she'll try to slap here. 2-2.
This feels like a must-have out for Kennedy. Have 2 strikes, 2 outs. Jada Coleman on deck, Tiare Jennings in the hole.
Kennedy has kept the Wolves at bay for 4 2/3. And Boone spoils another 2-strike pitch. It's been a little less common the second time through the lineup, though. Much quicker finishes to the at-bats against Nyjah Kennedy. First time through the order, Oklahoma fouled off 21 pitches with 2 strikes. The second time through, only 3. Boone left side. Boone base hit. Now it gets interesting. Patty Gasso will take a timeout and call her team over with 2 on, 2 out. And the Big 12 Player of the Year, Jada Coleman, about to bat.
Similar to Jada Coleman, Riley Boone plays with just so much passion. Keeps her feet still, swings away on this outside pitch, keeps her hands and barrel above the ball, and you see the energy come out with her, and then it just is exponentially increased whenever Jada Coleman comes up after Riley Boone gets on. The energy of the lineup is right here between Boone and Coleman.
It's like a sonic boom of enthusiasm between these two. The senior out of Owasso High School in Tulsa, Riley Boone, and the junior out of the Colony in Texas, Jada Coleman. Two on, 2 out. Tie game, 5th inning. First pitch. Strike.
I love that she went inside. So many pitchers throw Jada Coleman on the outside corner over and over and over again, and she goes with an outside pitch so well. Hard up and in on her hands to get ahead.
Started every at-bat against Coleman with a swinging strike. Out of play, strike 2.
Mad at herself about that swing, where that pitch location was, maybe feeling like that was her one to hit.
Number 24 in crimson and white, opposing number 24 in Stanford Cardinal. Left side base hit. Here comes Hodge, and the ball gets away from Eck. 2-run score, and Oklahoma takes the lead. On an 0-2 pitch. Have we seen that before?
Just way too close for a 2-strike pitch, and it's on the outside corner. Would have loved to have seen her go in. Jada Coleman loves driving the ball the opposite way. She shortens up her swing, keeps her barrel on top of that pitch, and is just able to hit it hard. A line drive out to left field, and all of a sudden, Oklahoma again with 2 outs, 2 strikes, is able to rally and score.
An RBI single for Coleman, her second hit of the game, an E7 against Eck. Jada is still trying to amp up the crowd. And Eliak, who made that brilliant play to end the 4th inning, commits a crucial error in the 5th. Tiare Jennings down 0-2.
Two 2-strike hits. That Torres 1-2 single.
All 4 of the 2-strike hits today, or all 4 of the hits today with 2 strikes for Oklahoma. Jennings, center field. Gindelsberger started in and makes the catch over her shoulder. But Oklahoma finally opens the emotion at Hall of Fame Stadium. Jada Coleman single plus an error, breaking the shutout and giving the top-seeded Sooners a 2-0 lead over Stanford. And now Jordy Ball pitches with a lead for the first time today. She needs 6 outs as she throws ball 1 to the cleanup hitter, Emily Young. Young, Chung, and Schultz for a Stanford team that has 4 hits and a walk, but has gone 0 for 5 with runners in scoring position today with a sac bunt and 4 strikeouts. An almost perfect afternoon for that young woman. An 0-2 pitch left a little too close to Jada Coleman is the difference right now.
And Stanford has had 3 innings where they've had a runner in scoring position. Just not been able to come through and get that big hit, but they have been able to get some hits and some traction on the base pass against Ball. But seems like when they're out there, she rises up and just strikes more people out.
Grounded to shortstop. The Gold Glove winner Lyons for the first out. Going to take a long time to empty this seating bowl. At some point they will before our night session. Oklahoma State and Florida State, Washington and Utah. Next game 7 Eastern, 6 local. Cowgirls, who were a semifinalist a season ago, and the Seminoles, who were a finalist in their last trip here 2 seasons ago. 2 teams that look like they could go all the way to the finals again. They get a brutal day 1 draw.
Now that'll be a good one. I mean, just this entire day just makes me so happy. It feels like Christmas. It's June 1, but going to sleep last night, just so excited to get these games going. Knew they were going to be epic.
Did you go to sleep last night?
Barely. I was looking at my numbers on my Aura ring, and they were not great. Not gonna lie.
You may need to just leave the Aura ring at home next time you come here.
That way it won't be in my head as much.
Yeah, exactly. 2 balls and a strike for Kylie Chung. Strikeout and a single for her today. That's ball 3. And this is Florida State. Lonnie Alameda's Super Seminoles, who were stunned in the regional last year as the 2 seed, made the finals as the 10 seed 2 seasons ago. They are one of the main contenders to challenge Oklahoma.
A lot of players on that team that were here 2 years ago whenever they played them, and in the finals, remember they won game 1 too. I went back and looked at that.
National champions in 2018. 3-2. Chung left field. Riley Boone.
I'm so amazed by Riley Boone. I mean, you talk about all these bigger hitters in their lineup. When I say bigger, I mean more RBIs, more home runs, but what she brings to the Oklahoma offensive lineup is invaluable, and the energy that she brings side by side in the lineup, side by side in the outfield next to Jada Coleman. Really special player who's just stepped it up this year and became a mainstay.
Emily Schultz to second, and Jennings. It's a quick inning for Ball. It's a 2-0 lead for Oklahoma.
With the rise ball and made an adjustment.
And Aisha Kennedy is out after an epic 5 innings. The All-American Elena Vonner gets her first experience in a World Series stage. She'll face the heart of the Oklahoma order, starting with Haley Lee. It's a 2-0 game, 5 innings, 2 runs, 1 earned for Kennedy. What do you make of this move by Jessica Allister?
I was thinking about this. I think just to give a different look, Vodder All-American for that gives a completely different look than Kennedy, because Vodder throws more down with her drop. So from what Oklahoma saw to what they're about to see. Very different approach.
Nyjah Kennedy gives up the 2, but she was just awesome today. 78 out of those 99 pitches were strikes. Mentioned the love that she has for Odyssey Alexander, the inspiration she drew from Odyssey Alexander, who beat Oklahoma at the World Series 2 years ago. I mean, this was at times, frankly, an Odyssey-esque performance with those rise balls and that heat.
Definitely, and the way that it happened on day one and just throwing with heat up in the zone with that rise ball reminds me a lot of Odyssey and what we saw that day.
Vaughter 2-2 for Lee. It's an Oklahoma team that is tested for a second straight game. Clemson really tested him for a little while in game 1, too. As Lee pops it up. Young has the first out.
I like the idea, too, just to be able to get Elena Vaughter experience on this field before, if they are not able to come back, that they face an elimination game. Again, just if you haven't played here before, whether you're an upperclassman or a freshman, love to see her get experience. And, of course, her being an All-American. You have a few great options on the Stanford pitching staff.
Penegasso will pinch it for Kinsey Hansen here. Quincy Lilio to pinch it. Well, an attendance record has been broken once again in Oklahoma City, and we have been saying that a lot the last couple of years. We'll show you that attendance record in a moment here. Lilio out to left. New Session 1 record here at the World Series. Session 1, the first session of the first day, 12,379. That's the third highest ever for any session in the history of the Women's College World Series.
Guys, I'm down on the field level, and during the Jada Coleman at bat where she sent the 2 runners home, this place was so loud down here. And just looking around, there were Oklahoma fans standing up, whether it was in the upper deck, whether it was in the outfield. They weren't even on the edge of their seat, guys. They were standing up. They were so into this game.
How could you not be? I mean, this has been the last few years here, ever since 2020. We didn't have the tournament because of the coronavirus. Ever since this came back in 2021, the crowds have swelled. The action has been amazing. We know all of you watching at home are a big part of the growth of this sport. Just keep shattering records for ratings and attendance, and we're glad you all are a part of it. We're lucky to be a part of it, and this is just the beginning. We're not going to crown a champion until sometime next week. Means a lot more records can be broken. Alyssa Brito, good drop ball hitter.
Yeah, it seems like as the game has evolved, so has the stadium, right? You've just seen the growth of the game, and it's kind of mirrored with all the changes of the stadium. Adding that upper deck was a massive part of the stadium to add, to even be able to get to 12,000, 13,000 fans because of that upper deck that was recently added. You mentioned the padded walls. That's a big deal in the outfield too.
Alabama awaits this game's loser tomorrow. Tennessee awaits this game's winner on Saturday. Two teams that have acquitted themselves awfully well on day one. 2-2 for Brito. Going to be the 7 and 8 hitters. Lim, who's been hot, and Steele, who has a hit today. When Stanford takes the batter's box of the 7th. You're welcome. High quality microphone work. Brito to third. That's a hot shot. It ate up Steele. It looked like had it ping off her glove. And Brito scorches a single.
I mean, that ball was absolutely crushed. You mentioned that Alyssa Brito is so good at hitting a drop ball, and she is. That got on Steele so quickly. Even thought she had a chance to catch it because got her glove on it and almost it snow coned in, but it had so much speed behind it. Just continued to get past her glove. Good reactions by Sydney Steele to knock that down.
Brito now 9 for 19 with a walk in the tournament. Sydney Sanders. 2-0's a tough task against Jordy Ball. A big fly by Sanders here, and this game might be fully out of reach. And she's hit 3 of them in the tournament. A former Arizona State player against the current Stanford pitcher.
Yeah, Stanford with his deep pitching staff. We've talked a lot about Nyjah today, but Elena Vaughter has a lot of experience for them, and Reagan Krause as well. This is a 3-deep pitching staff for Stanford that all have experience at this point.
And when they faced Oklahoma in February, Jessica Allister had a premonition. She said, I told Alana and Nyjah, you're not pitching against Oklahoma because we're going to see them later on. So Reagan Krause pitched the majority of that game, a 10-1 loss. That's quite a bit of planning by Coach Allister. She was right. And Kennedy was terrific. Off speed, strike 2.
And we've seen dominant pitchers get here before at the World Series in the past and just not have an explosive offense. Kat Osterman always comes to mind with Texas, that they would get here and she would just dominate teams in the circle, and her team just could not push across any runs.
That's another walk for Sanders, and a 2-out rally is brewing for OU.
But another good at bat by Sanders. She's been hot, hot, hot since that Texas series. Looks like a totally different player than what we saw from February and March. Settled into this team, as all the transfers have. The transfer impact for this Oklahoma team was felt in the offseason and has continued to be felt at the World Series.
Haven't even seen Alex Tarraco today, pitcher from Michigan. Avery Hodge will hit after running in the 5th for Torres and staying in to play right. And here comes Tori Nyberg. Trying to make it 49 in a row, Oklahoma. Arizona from 96 to 97 won 47 straight. Oklahoma lost a game in February, lost at Baylor February the 19th. Sending shockwaves through the college softball world. A loss in February, and all they've done since is win. Hodge right side, off the glove of Schultz. He has no play. They're loaded up. And now it's Grace Lyons trying to effectively end it.
It's a changeup that Vaughter can throw pretty much on command. That drop ball and her changeup, that mix down in the zone. It's a good mix for her.
After what is ruled an infield single.
No. Didn't we just go through this?
I only wish for the rest of you at home you could have seen the look Amanda Scarborough just shot me.
I know it's not your fault.
Oh, I know.
I don't hold it against you.
I know you're not. I know I'm just the messenger here. 2 strikes on Lyons. Whoa, time is called. No pitch.
Just don't think if the pitcher has started her motion, which is what it looked like, that time should be given. A definite late call.
Jessica Allister agrees. She is very frustrated with that decision from Christina Drum.
And not liking the explanation that she was given by the looks of it.
Umpire typically will grant time. An umpire does not have to grant time if asked by the batter. It is up to the umpire's discretion as to whether or not to grant it. It was granted there. And on we go on 0-2 to Lyons, who strikes out anyway. Vaughter keeps Stanford's hopes alive.
Changeup mixing into the middle of the game, and her drop ball late. Her last 3 strikeouts have come off of a drop, and changeup.
She'll face 7, 8, 9 in the Stanford order here in the 7th inning. Caitlin Lim first into the box, followed by Sydney Steele, and then Ellie Eck. Lim was had a very good tournament. Has been foiled by a low rise and a changeup for her 2 strikeouts. Lim lays down a bunt foul. Stanford has had chances. 2 runners on in the 1st inning with 1 out, in the 4th inning with 1 out, and in the 5th inning with 1 out. But they have left 6 on base. They're 0 for 5 with runners in scoring position. Lim holds back the barrel on ball 2.
No, it kind of seemed like at the beginning of the year that Jordy had a bit of a slower start than how she started to pitch in April and the month of May. Maybe looking back to her freshman year, Patty Gasso had said, and think, how do I outdo that? National Freshman of the Year burst onto the scene right away in early February with a big game against UCLA. And from that moment on, Kevin, she has gotten so much attention. You think of the faces in the circle of our sport. Jordy Ball is definitely one of them, along with Montana Fouts.
The All-American from Papillion, Nebraska. Thought she had another strikeout. Not much of a poker face. Six full count of the game. Cardinal are 0 for 5. And slap foul.
Talked about how tough Nyjah Kennedy is with 2 strikes to hit against her, but the same thing on the other side with Jordy Ball. Opponents hitting just .081 against Ball with 2 strikes coming into this game.
Lim trying to give Stanford a chance to tie it. The leadoff batter in the 7th will go down swinging. Her 3rd strikeout and Ball's 9th.
It's this rise ball that's lower through the zone, up and in, or more actually over the heart of the plate there, but a low rise nonetheless, getting Lim to strike out 3 times in this game.
Now Sydney Steele gets that call on a low strike.
Looked like Jordy Ball just, I don't know if the ground gave out underneath her, but it's a really, the way that she landed definitely caught your eye there at that last pitch. This was the pitch before. Oh, it looked like almost she kind of rolled over that ankle when her foot landed. Definitely something to keep your eye on there.
Pitch number 97 coming from Oklahoma's number 98.
And hopefully it's nothing.
Better finish the last 2. To that pitch, I mean, finish to the pitch.
Oh, yeah, sorry. I was looking at you so blank-faced. Yeah, you could, after a roll like that, though, as a pitcher, you're a little bit timid to push out and land with as much energy.
Rounded left side and a base hit for Sydney Steele, her second of the game. And Stanford will bring the tying run to the plate.
It's a big deal right there by Sydney Steele. Been so good down at the bottom of the order.
And Jessica Allister is going to bring in a pinch hitter, Danny Hayes, to swing it with a chance to tie it.
Pitching for Stanford, number 5, Danny Hayes.
Danny Hayes missed most of this season. This is only her 5th plate appearance of the year. She's 1 for 3 with a walk. But her one hit, pretty big one, pretty recently. 2-run single in Game 2 against Duke. She'd been out since February the 22nd. Hayes shows bunt and takes a ball. Season ago, Danny Hayes 9 for 46. She has never hit a home run. 60th plate appearance of her career now, and a quick visit there from Jen Rocha, the Oklahoma pitching coach.
That's about the fastest mound visit that I think we've seen this entire year, and she even hustled out there, just said a couple of words and then hustled back. Good hustle, Coach Rocha. We like it.
Nice positive pace of play. Could use some more of that going around.
Yes.
Good visit. Didn't need to be any longer than that, apparently.
Nope. That was that.
There's just not a home run threat, at least statistically, around for a while for Stanford. Mailer doesn't have any on deck. Hayes at the plate doesn't have any. And she will take a called third strike and bring Oklahoma to the brink. It'll be River Mailer, Stanford's on-base percentage leader, though without a home run this year. Strike 1. Jordy Ball with 10 strikeouts on this World Series opening day. She has passed every test. 1-1 for Mailer. 1 to go. It's been a year, but this is a pretty familiar sight and sound in this place.
Jordy Ball has just looked really confident in this game. Struck out Mailer to start the game, wants to strike her out to end the game.
Her 4th double-digit strikeout game of the season and 10th in just 2 years. A 1-2 from the All-American. Mailer goes down swinging and Oklahoma wins it. A shutout for Jordy Ball with 11 strikeouts. Jada Coleman's RBI single with an error added the difference in the 5th inning.